I love and I own many incredible cameras, but today I'm coming clean about the one that I actually use every day, the one that you see me from most, and it's from a manufacturer that I always thought of as second rate. Oh, they make those small cameras with those small sensors. They make that other camera that feels kind of plasticky and lacks a front grip, and I'm not even sure that they know what autofocus means. Yeah, that's what I thought about this company too, until I met this camera. This is the $3,200 Lumix S1 II. It came out last spring, and it's the do-all flagship of the Lumix lineup. It has Lumix's first partially stacked 24.1 megapixel sensor that can film up to 5.1K, 60 frames per second, wait for it, open gate, or up to 120 frames per second in 4K. Photo-wise, it can shoot up to 70 frames per second in burst mode, and it has 8-stop 5-axis image stabilization. And I like to use this camera when I need the absolute best looking footage. So for the year that I've been using this Lumix camera, I've been rocking a 24-70 f2.8 lens. So I'm using this video as an excuse to try out some new glass. So first, I went with a Lumix 100 to 500 millimeter f5 to 7.1 telephoto lens. Next, I'm trying out a Sigma 14 to 24 millimeter f2.8 lens because with Lumix's highest image stabilization settings turned on, this is a 24 millimeter lens at arm's length, which is just like a little bit tight for vlogging. So my hope with the 14 millimeter, oh my God, yes! See, I like want to be able to see the environment behind me, and now you can, and it's like stable. And last but not least, oh my God, that's crazy looking. Venus Laowa. It's a 4 millimeter fisheye. What if every one of my videos now is shot like this? I fear a monster has been made. If you know one thing about a Lumix camera, it's probably that it has great in-body image stabilization, and it is without a doubt the very first feature of this camera that I fell in love with. Now, I learned how to shoot product B-roll at The Verge, which was known for its buttery smooth, parallaxing product shots. And to get those shots, I lived on this doozy slider. But now that it's just me, I don't have as much time to just spend moving a camera back and forth on a slider, and I don't have as many arms to carry as much gear everywhere. I'm shooting out on a beach, I'm shooting at a subway stop. And with this camera, I'm able to do all of that handheld. Now I do need to give credit where credit is due. Sony's latest, the a7 IV, has some pretty solid image stabilization. And I wouldn't sleep on the Nikon ZR either. So Lumix, watch out, because your time as king might soon be coming to an end. The next thing that I love about this camera, which I am also finding other manufacturers shying away from, is the fact that Lumix decided to stay large and in charge. This camera feels far more like a solid DSLR than it does a mirrorless. And it's got this absolutely chunky hand grip with a nice lip on the front and a pronounced thumb rest around back. It's got dials on dials, buttons galore, a protruding EVF, full-size HDMI, dual card CF Express Type B and SD card slots. I mean, it's a tank. And if you work at Lumix, you might want to cover your ears for this next one. I can confirm that when you drop it, it holds up like a tank too. Now, I am a firm believer that if a camera feels good in your hands, you're more likely to carry it and therefore use it. But of course, that's only half the story. It has to create great images as well. And this camera does not disappoint. I use it to film most of the ad content that you see within my videos, including this next one. But it's not the only camera I used in this spot. I used 3 different cameras, so go ahead and give it a watch and let me know if you can spot a difference. This is Violet. She's 99 years old, and that thing she's driving, it's got more sensors than a Tesla. Currently, Violet has to use one of these, but even with her walker, she can't travel very far, which is why I wanted her to try out the EV1.
Oh my goodness, very exciting.
This is a personal mobility vehicle with 2 LiDAR, 10 time of flight, 6 ultrasonic, plus 2 cameras. I think this thing has more cameras than me. 4-wheel independent suspension that can tow a pickup truck in neutral, and the ability to break down into 5 parts, so you can actually take it places. There's 3 driving modes. The first, of course, is full manual. So you have full control over the EV1 via this joystick, and if you're about to hit something, the EV1 will alert you via haptics in the joystick. There's also a co-pilot mode, which I think was Violet's favorite. In this mode, the EV1 uses all of its sensors. It builds an omnidirectional perception network around it in order to stop you from running into things. Then there's Copilot Plus, which will just move you around objects.
Okay, very, very nice.
And then, of course, full autonomous mode. In this mode, you can either tap on the screen to a point you would like the chair to take you, or after mapping your home, you could say, take me to the lift, and the EV1 will take you there. Now, through the end of the month, Strutt is running an early bird special, so if you or someone you know could benefit from this technology, you're gonna wanna check out the link down in the description.
No more in the room all day. I'm gonna say, come on, let's go.
Welcome back, and thank you, Violet, for letting me come with all of my cameras into your home and film your experience with the EV1, and happy birthday. Violet turned 99 years old just 2 weeks ago, and oh my god, I mean, that's the coolest, most incredible thing ever. So thank you, Violet. Now back to cameras. You probably could tell the difference between the iPhone footage in that video because it was vertical, because I was also doing some social content for them. But you might have had a little bit of trouble differentiating the Lumix S1 II and this guy, the Canon PowerShot V1. I love this camera, best $700 I've ever spent because I use it in every single one of my videos, but also the quirkiest camera I've ever used with terrible battery life. So if you want a review of this thing, let me know down in the comments. But back to the S1 II, I shoot the standard color profile most of the time. And I find that the sharpness, the colors, is truly incredible. But what I love most about this camera is all the things that I am endlessly finding and not using currently. There are so many different color profiles and log options and frame rates to choose from here. And I just have full confidence that no matter what I'm doing, this camera will be able to keep up. Though of course, this camera is not perfect. I haven't experienced this, but apparently there's a pretty good HDMI lag that may be the latest firmware fixed, but I wouldn't know, I don't use an external monitor. And then of course, there's some issues with hardware. First is this LCD screen. Now that I've used the Nikon ZR and its 4-inch LCD, this thing just feels small and its bezels feel big. Next is this preview button. It is the only button on the left-hand side of the back panel, which means if you hit it with your right hand, you're likely gonna trigger the EVF. And if you're going for it with your left hand, you're likely taking your hand off the front of the barrel to do it. Just put it on the right-hand side with everything else. Next is a little issue with software. I mean, this menu system is a pain in the ass. You may have noticed on the front of the camera, I have white tape covering the tally light. Now I could go in and I could figure out how to turn this tally light off, but in the few times that I've tried to do that, finding where that setting is was impossible. So I just taped over it instead. And sorry, Reddit, this is not an unreleased Lumix camera. Now I don't think any camera manufacturer is immune from bad menu systems. There's just so much you have to get in there. There is one manufacturer who's doing it better than most though, and that's Hasselblad, but there's also a lot less settings within that camera to change. And then we need to talk about autofocus. It's fine. Face and body detect works well, so long as the camera can clearly see some eyes, a silhouette, or shoulders, but locking the focus onto a point that isn't a living creature, well, the system just ain't as sticky, as I call it. So I end up just using the area focus feature and keeping the shutter button or whatever I'm filming within this fixed box instead. It works well enough, but I certainly miss shooting with a Sony in these moments. But otherwise, I only have good things to say about this camera, though I do need to point out the obvious. This is a review unit, and since I've had it for a year, and I've used it for a year, it is only fair that I buy one pretty soon, which I think I will, but I'm not gonna buy this one. You see, Lumix also makes the S1 Mark II, which doesn't have the partially stacked sensor, meaning that it's not quite as fast. So like you don't get the 70 shots per second burst mode, but I find that I don't really use its speed for much, and I could save $1,000 if I buy that one. So I have a feeling I'll be buying a used one of those pretty damn soon. And there's one more thing I want to call out. When I've been at events and such, I've been seeing a hell of a lot of this camera, and I'm not gonna name names, but I can assure a lot of you that the folks you're watching on YouTube, they're using this thing too. All right, that's all I gotta say about this camera. Let me know what you think of it down in the comments, of any other cameras you want me to give a try, a second chance to, a first chance to, really. I'm Becca, I appreciate you so much, and as always, I'll see you on the next one.
I think I got it.